You finally do it. You find a partner who actually texts back, someone who remembers your birthday, someone who doesn't disappear for a 3-day break every time you ask a question. And what is your very first thought? Wow, I am so bored. Right now, you are convincing yourself that you just haven't found the spark. You tell your friends your intuition is screaming at you. But let me stop you right there. Your intuition is broken. Because the truth is much worse. You aren't bored. You are going through cortisol withdrawal. You spent years in the trenches of toxic relationships. You got used to the adrenaline spike of a late-night argument. You got addicted to the dopamine hit of them finally apologizing. You trained your nervous system to believe that severe anxiety is just butterflies. You rewired your brain to associate love with survival. So now, when you are handed a peaceful relationship, your brain doesn't know what to do with it. It feels like a trap. Your subconscious is screaming, "Why isn't my heart racing?" Well, maybe your heart isn't racing because you aren't fighting for your life in a Denny's parking lot at 2 in the morning. Big difference. But your brain is an absolute junkie for the familiar. If there isn't a fire to put out, you feel like you aren't needed. So what do? You start manufacturing problems just to feel normal. You pick a fight over the dishwasher. You leave them on read for 3 hours just to see if they will double text. You stare at the ceiling at night wondering if they are too nice. Let me translate too nice for you. It means they aren't currently ruining my life and I don't know how to process that. You start pulling away, calling it independence. But you aren't independent. You are terrified of being perceived by someone who isn't trying to destroy you. Intimacy requires vulnerability, but chaos just requires a reaction. And you are so used to reacting that you forgot how to connect. Stop treating peace like a red flag. The chaos isn't passion. It is Olympic-level exhaustion masquerading as romance. You don't actually miss your toxic ex. You miss the high of surviving them. But survival is not a relationship status. It is a trauma response. Until you realize that, you will spend your life rejecting people who actually want to love you and chasing people who don't even see you, which is why you keep those dating apps downloaded on your phone just to look. But we will get to that illusion next time. Case closed. So let's talk about that illusion. You are in a peaceful relationship, but you still have Tinder hidden in a folder. You tell yourself it is just innocent curiosity. You just want to see who is out there. You are lying. You don't want to see who is out there. You want to see if you still have leverage. You treat dating apps like a digital panic room, because as long as you have a backup plan, you don't have to be fully present. You are using random strangers to self-soothe your fear of commitment. Every right swipe is just a tiny hit of validation. A little reminder that if your current partner figures out how broken you are, you have somewhere else to go. But having options doesn't make you powerful. It makes you a coward. You are building a fire exit in a house that isn't even burning. And eventually the smell of smoke becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you constantly scan the horizon for a better deal, you will bankrupt the one you already made. You are so obsessed with not settling that you are actively choosing to be empty. You think you are protecting your heart, but really, you are just protecting your ego, and your ego is the exact thing keeping you lonely. And that brings us to your favorite buzzword, hyperindependence. You wear it like a badge of honor. You pay for everything, you never ask for help, and you handle your bad days in complete isolation. You think this makes you strong. It doesn't. It makes you unreachable. Hyperindependence isn't a personality trait. It is a defense mechanism masquerading as empowerment. You decided a long time ago that relying on someone meant giving them the power to destroy you. So you fired everyone before they could quit. You became the CEO of your own isolation. But deep down you are exhausted. You want someone to take the wheel, but the second they try, you slap their hand away. You test them. You push them to their absolute limit just to see if they will stay. And when they finally leave, you look in the mirror and say, "See, I knew I could only rely on myself." You rigged the game so you would lose, just to prove you were right. That isn't strength. That is self-sabotage. True strength is letting someone see the parts of you that aren't perfectly curated. It is allowing yourself to be a burden for 5 minutes without apologizing. Stop building a fortress to protect a heart that is already starving. Drop the armor. It is heavy, and the war ended a long time ago. Case closed. So let's look at the final trap. The addiction to the struggle itself. You have built your entire identity around being a survivor. You are the person who gets through the storm, the one who handles the chaos, the one who fights up the mountain. But what happens when you finally reach the top? What happens when there is no storm left to fight? You feel completely empty, because without an enemy, you don't know who you are. You have spent so long in survival mode that peace feels like a vacuum. It stretches out in front of you, completely quiet. And instead of resting, your brain starts panicking. It says, if I am not fighting, I am not moving forward. You mistake the absence of conflict for the absence of progress. But growth isn't always a bloody battle. Sometimes growth is just learning how to sit still in a quiet room, without checking your phone, without looking for a crisis to solve, without wondering when the other shoe is going to drop. You have to realize that you are allowed to take the armor off. You don't need to be broken to be interesting, and you don't need to be hurting to be alive. The brutal truth is, you are terrified of actual happiness, because happiness feels fragile. If you admit that things are good right now, you feel like you are exposing your throat to the universe. You are waiting for the punchline. You think, this is too perfect. Something terrible is about to happen. So you ruin it yourself, just to control the timing of the crash. It is a sick kind of comfort. You would rather be predictably miserable than unpredictably happy. Because at least when you are miserable, you are the one in control. But that is a childish way to live. The world isn't plotting against your peace. You are plotting against your own peace. It is time to fire the soldier inside your head. The war is over. The battlefield is empty. You are allowed to just exist. You are allowed to text back, stay present, and build something that doesn't explode. Stop looking for the exit, sit down, and let yourself be happy. Case closed.